Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news, raising tuition. Some UNC students will pay more for their education. How much higher their tuition will go?
We have some extra cloud cover still out there this afternoon. We'll see warm temperatures today, but even warmer this weekend. I'll let you know how warm we'll get and how chilly it will be tomorrow morning.
And portable health care, the new proposal the Trump administration is considering that could help make home ownership accessible.
But first, get into that breaking news. UNC Chapel Hill leadership voted to raise tuition for some students. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are both I'm in for Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. This all comes after a committee shot it down yesterday. Incoming in-state students will pay 3% more for tuition. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live at the Carolina Inn, where the board just wrapped up their meeting. Destiny.
Now, this decision didn't come easily. Just inside of this building here, it took 2 days of discussion, a lot of back and forth, and a very, very close vote to get to this point. Take a look at what could change here. Undergraduate in-state students will pay about $200 more per year. When it comes to out-of-state undergrads, they'll pay about $4,000 more per year. Now, housing and food costs are also expected to go up starting next school year. Board members against the increase cited affordability and constitutional concerns. But the chancellor calls it a reasonable increase after years of not doing so.
I think if you had the additional 4 board members here, you'd have the same kind of discussion about our commitment to affordability and how we balance that against the need to match the increases in costs that we see across the board.
Now, the Board of Governors will have the final say here, so it's still not 100% set in stone. If approved, these changes wouldn't impact current students. It'll impact the students who are starting their collegiate journey at UNC Chapel Hill next school year. They'll be the first to see these changes. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Chapel Hill.
And this is not the only school considering tuition hikes. That's because this is the first time the UNC system has allowed schools to consider it in almost a decade. NC State could also increase tuition by 3%. School leaders will meet this afternoon to discuss the plan. If approved, tuition would increase by $196 a year for in-state undergrads. Current undergraduates would not see their tuition go up.
Well, our gradual warm-up continues through the end of the work week, and that's great news for Football Friday. Meteorologist Grant Skinner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And Grant, give us a little bit of preview of that forecast, because this weekend's looking pretty good.
Yeah, weekend looks really nice. Tons of sunshine, warmer temperatures coming up in a little bit. We'll talk about how much will warm up this weekend. I first want to start with the view outside, because it is beautiful out there. This is the view from Raleigh. We have tons of blue sky out there. There are some places that have some high clouds. We've seen them throughout the course of this morning, but overall, no big issues with our forecast for today. You can see the scatter clouds continue on satellite and radar. We'll see a few more of those through this afternoon, but then gradual clearing into the rest of this evening and then overnight tonight, making for a chilly morning tomorrow. We'll talk more about that as well. 61 in Raleigh right now, 63 in Goldsboro, so warming up quickly after a mild morning. 66 Southern Pines, 61 degrees in Roxborough right now. Wind gusts are up to around 20 miles per hour. Some gusts a bit stronger, so through this afternoon, you could see gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour, but not going to be a huge damper on your plans throughout the day today. Just a bit of a breeze out there. So clearing today, a bit of a breeze. Temperatures reaching the mid-60s. Still very, very comfortable. 69 in Fayetteville, 65 in Raleigh. Roanoke Rapids reaching 64 degrees with that scatter cloud cover continuing for part of the day, but then more clearing skies for the rest of this evening. Now by tomorrow morning, 37 degrees in Durham, 38 Raleigh, 33 in Roxborough. So a chilly start tomorrow morning. That's thanks to less cloud cover overall. That'll allow for more radiational cooling, which allows for really chilly temperatures to settle in across the area. So cold tomorrow, but then a big shift this weekend. We'll talk more about how much will warm up, what's going to cause that warm up, and if we'll see any rain chances through the weekend as well. That's coming up in a little bit.
I'm Elizabeth Holmes in the WRAL Live Center. If you live in Wilson's Southeast Water District, you will need to boil your water. Wilson County government put this on X about an hour ago. This is all due to a water main break causing some low pressure and outages. No timeline yet on when the boil water advisory will be lifted, but if you are in that district, be sure to boil your water for at least 1 minute before using it.
All All right, thanks, Elizabeth. New at noon, we've learned in the last hour that deputies arrested a woman accused of child abuse and starving dogs. An arrest warrant shows deputies found several dead animals and a malnourished child at Nancy Gupton's home in Nashville. Records show the child is Gupton's 10-year-old daughter. Gupton faces charges for killing an animal and child abuse. She is in jail on a $50,000 bond.
The longest government shutdown in American history is over. However, it might take a while for Americans to see services get back to normal. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are coming back after 43 days. There are some federal employees who are not deemed essential and were furloughed throughout the shutdown. Well, now they're going to deal with more than 6 weeks of backlog. The shutdown also disrupted the nation's safety net programs such as SNAP, and it's unclear exactly when those benefits will be available, though some people have reported they're starting to see some. And just this morning, Governor Josh Stein issued a statement on the government reopening. He said in part, quote, North Carolinians need stability to put food on the table, receive a paycheck, or travel home for the holidays. And I am pleased the government is back open. There was no reason to force 43 days of chaos, cruelty, and uncertainty just to avoid keeping health care affordable.
The shutdown hit food banks hard as the demand increased due to furloughs and the pausing of food benefits. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the Interfaith Food Shuttle in Raleigh to explain why the recovery process is going to take some time.
Today, a lot of folks may be able to feel like they can finally exhale, but there are still several questions. Food was distributed from the Interfaith Food Shuttle farm here all throughout the shutdown as people sought additional resources. The big question right now is, when will SNAP benefits resume? The U.S. Department of Agriculture says funds will be available within 24 hours in most states. We're working to find out the timeline for North Carolina. More than 82,000 people receive those benefits in Wake County. That's according to county data. Food banks have had higher demand since the shutdown. The CEO of Interfaith Food Shuttle, Ron Pringle, says although the shutdown is over, people may still need extra support.
The sun may come back out, the rain may stop, but this is still a recovery process. There's still individuals who are furloughed who may not get back pay.
NBC News reports that the government plans to offer back pay. It's just not clear on when those furloughed workers will be able to receive it or how fast their regular payments will resume. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And maybe you are wondering where to get your next meal because of the SNAP situation. Maybe you're in a position to donate to help your neighbors. Either way, we have a list of resources for you on WRAL.com. Just search SNAP.
At least one person is hurt because of a crash between a motorcycle and a school bus. Sky 5 was above that scene this morning in Wake County. What you're seeing here is the intersection of Bud Lipscomb Road and Kennebec Road. Authorities at the scene told WRAL a motorcycle driver went to the hospital with serious injuries, and were told there were no students on the bus. Durham police are investigating a shooting in the McDougal Terrace community. Officers responded just after midnight and found a man with life-threatening injuries. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was out there for hours as a forensics team gathered evidence. And we're working to find out what led up to the shooting and the latest on that man's condition.
The Trump administration is evaluating another idea to make housing more affordable. Portable mortgages would let homeowners take their mortgage rate with them when they move instead of taking out a new loan. Just over half of homeowners have mortgage rates below 4%. And those homeowners with ultra low mortgage rates have been less willing to move, right? In part, that's because average mortgage rates for the last few years have been stuck between 6 and 7%. 1 in 4 American households is living paycheck to paycheck. That's according to an analysis of internal data from the Bank of America. Researchers tracked how much consumers spent on necessities like groceries, housing, gas, childcare, and utilities. And they found that about a quarter of households spend more than 95% of their income on those necessities. And there is little to nothing left for extras.
Taking a look at your stock markets this afternoon, looks like the Dow is down 411 points there, and that's after the federal government reopened. It looks like it's fell from the record that we saw there. Trying to bring up some other numbers here like the S&P 500, having a little trouble, but that's okay. We'll be watching to see how the rest of the markets do by the end of the day.
New at noon, one of North Carolina's most popular tourist attractions is closing soon for what could be a long time. State lawmakers approved tens of millions of dollars for the renovations, which will include adding a new giant shark habitat. Officials have not said exactly when the final day for the Fort Fisher Aquarium would be, only promising that it will stay open at least through the end of December. That means you might have just over a month left to visit if this has been on your bucket list.
Weight Watchers plans to offer the pill form of Wegovy if it's available next year in the U.S. Weight loss pills from Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are under consideration for a new speedy U.S. review pathway that would get them approved faster. Both drug makers agreed to cut prices of their popular GLP-1 injectable drugs, specifically for U.S. government health programs and customers paying cash. Starter doses of the pills would cost $149 a month through the new Trump RX website.
A live jazz venue in Durham has closed its doors, but the owner says it's not goodbye, it's just a reset. After 2 years, Missy Lane's Assembly Room has permanently closed. The venue provided live jazz every day of the week. It also offered popular Sunday jazz brunch options. Missy Lane's charitable foundation vows they will continue their mission through the Missy Lane's Block Party and other jazz education programs. Happening today, Special Olympics North Carolina Fall Games getting underway in the Charlotte area. Several teams from the Triangle, including Wake County, are in Charlotte for the competition. More than 1,300 athletes will compete in 7 sports, including golf, softball, tennis, and cycling. The opening ceremony is virtual and airs tonight on the Special Olympics North Carolina Facebook page at 8 p.m. The Fall Games wrap up on Saturday.
Next at noon, Jesse Jackson hospitalized. What we know about the civil rights leader's condition, including what he could be experiencing.
Plus, air travel trouble continues. Why, even though the federal government shutdown is over, issues with your future flight might not be.
And World Kindness Day, how you can benefit from both giving and receiving a little extra generosity this year.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
The WRAL Live Center, Oklahoma's governor saved the life of an inmate just hours before he was scheduled to be executed by lethal injection. This is 46-year-old Tremaine Wood. He was sentenced to die for his role in the death of a 19-year-old during a botched robbery back in 2022. Now, he maintained that he was not responsible for that 19-year-old's death, and his attorneys, in fact, said that it was his brother who did it. Now, this comes after a parole board asked for clemency for Woods. He will now spend life in prison.
Today, a judge will hear arguments to disqualify interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan. Halligan signed the indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Well, she's also the only federal prosecutor to do so. The defense attorneys will argue that a U.S. attorney can only serve 120 days on a temporary basis before needing to be confirmed by the Senate. That period lapsed by the time Halligan was installed as the interim U.S. attorney. Comey and James are due to stand trial in January.
Civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson has been hospitalized in Chicago. That's according to the Rainbow Push Coalition. Jackson, a protege of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., is under observation for progressive supranuclear palsy. The rare neurological disorder affects body movements, walking and balance, and eye movements. The disease has some symptoms and similar to Parkinson's disease. Most people with PSP develop severe disability within 3 to 5 years. Well, the American Battle Monuments Commission has removed a display about black soldiers in World War II from a U.S. military cemetery in the Netherlands. The visitor center display commemorated the contributions of black soldiers and highlighted the discrimination that they faced. The agency said it was due to an internal review of, quote, interpretive content by the former secretary who was dismissed by President Trump.
With the government shutdown now officially over, frustrated travelers could finally have relief. Federal airport workers who desperately need paychecks will start getting them again. But as NBC's Sam Brock explains, the travel trouble, it's not over yet.
It has been an incredibly bumpy last month, a month and a half for travelers, but it appears finally there could be some stabilizing in the works. This after the federal government came out last night and Secretary Sean Duffy for Transportation and said they're going to cap the flight restrictions at 6%. Was supposed to go to 8% today and 10% tomorrow. That is no longer happening with the shutdown deal now in place. The question becomes, will that lead to a scenario where enough controllers are coming to work and not calling out because of what's happening in Washington that the volume can resume? They're sort of taking a wait-and-see approach right now. We start the day with roughly 1,000 cancellations nationwide, but in terms of the individual numbers at airports, we're at Newark right now. It's about 75 flights, or roughly 6%. O'Hare has the most at roughly 100. Atlanta Hartsfield Airport also has around 90, 95 cancellations, but those figures were orders of magnitude higher just a couple of days ago. And perhaps most importantly, the delays have really been minimized. 500 nationwide right now. It was 6, 7, 8, 10,000 a couple of days ago, and things are moving smoothly behind me. It is worth noting the staffing triggers were really what was at the heart of all of this. A lot of controllers that weren't getting paid for weeks, really, a month and a half, calling out sick, and it led to volume having to be reduced at airports nationwide. Secretary Duffy says it peaked at 81 last Saturday, then it was down to 11 on Tuesday, 4 on Wednesday. As of this moment, there are not any staffing triggers nationwide. If that trend line continues, you can likely expect to see things resume to normal in the coming days. One more point here, Airlines for America, a trade industry or group representing airlines, says that there is an important factor that needs to be discussed. There is $5 billion plus, they say, in a trust fund that the FAA has that could have been used to pay air traffic controllers and TSA agents during the shutdown, and it wasn't tapped, it wasn't used. They want to know why, and they say they don't want our nation's airport employees to be thrown in as collateral damage the next time there is any sort of back and forth in Washington over funding the government. At Newark Airport, Sam Brock, NBC News.
Smithsonian museums will also begin reopening on a rolling basis, and all of its facilities will stay closed today. However, 3 sites, including the National Museum of American History, will reopen tomorrow. All other museums, the research centers, and even the National Zoo will reopen on a rolling basis by Monday. Smithsonian management advises visitors to check their website for information on reopening dates.
I am in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with meteorologist Grant Skinner, still looking at these beautiful photos that have been coming in from the past couple of nights.
Yeah, we had some from Tuesday night and then more last night. This wasn't as vibrant as the colors we saw Tuesday night, but still really, really beautiful. So I want to start with this. Thank you so much for sending in these photos to WRAL.com/report it. Please keep sending them. We love to see them. This is from Emily out of Lake Gaston, those gorgeous pinks and reds off in the distance, with a little bit of green on the horizon as well. And then Ray out of Garner sending this gorgeous sunrise this morning. We had a layer of cloud cover that's still in place for many spots. This is the view from Southern Pines. We still have some upper level clouds in place. This won't last the entire day, but watch out for those scatter clouds throughout the rest of the day today for some areas. They're mainly going to be high clouds, though, so it's still going to be very bright out there into this afternoon. 61 degrees right now, 68 in Fayetteville, 63 in Goldsboro, 63 Rocky Mount, Roxboro, and Durham, both at 61 degrees. Also South Hills at 61 degrees right now. The rest of this afternoon will warm into the mid-60s by 2 o'clock. Then by 4 p.m., 61 degrees. By later this evening into the 40s. Then by tomorrow morning, it will be chillier ahead of a warmer weekend. The reason why we'll see that warmth is with a warm front that passes later in the day tomorrow. It'll switch us to a southwest wind. That's going to bring in that warm, a little bit more humid air, but not overly humid. Highs will warm into the 70s into the afternoons, both Saturday and Sunday. And that cold front doesn't arrive, the next cold front doesn't arrive till later in the day on Sunday. So we don't really get more seasonable temperatures until the start of next week. But high pressure will still be in place to the south. That's going to keep us dry. So I want to use Futurecast to kind of walk you through how the temperatures will change throughout the course of the next, I would say, 48 to 72 hours. So here's Futurecast starting with Friday morning, 39 degrees in Raleigh, 35 in Roxboro. So chillier to start the day tomorrow. Keep that in mind. You'll want some layers. By tomorrow afternoon, a bit warmer than what we saw this afternoon, what we'll see this afternoon. Mid to upper 60s across the region, 67 Raleigh, 70 Fayetteville, 66 South Hill. Now the warm front passes. Now look at how the temperatures change this weekend. This is Saturday morning, 47 Raleigh, 47 Fayetteville, 43 in Roxboro. By the afternoon, more spots in the low 70s. In the morning hours, Sunday morning, now we're at around 60 degrees for our low. And then the highs in the mid to upper 70s. So definitely a big swing in our temperatures, especially compared to the 20s that we saw for our lows earlier this week. Definitely a warming trend after the warm front passes, and we're going to have high pressure in place ahead of that next cold front. So Football Friday looking great. Temperatures in the 50s tomorrow evening should be very comfortable, mostly clear skies. And this weekend really warming up, mid to upper 70s across the region, but rain chances stay out of the picture. Pretty much all the way through the next week, rain chances stay limited. Some isolated showers are possible by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, but overall just very, very comfortable the next couple of days. A chilly start to the day tomorrow, so keep that in mind. You want the layers heading out the door, but then warmer and beautiful this weekend, mid to upper 70s. Comfortable mornings as well, almost at 60 degrees for our low Sunday morning. So definitely a big shift into this weekend, but it should be beautiful. Enjoy some time outdoors.
North Carolina roller coaster weather. Thank you, Grant. Well, coming up on our news this afternoon, crash concerns. The death of an NC State professor put the spotlight back on safety along a busy Raleigh roadway. Tonight at 5, we dig into data and ask if any changes are on the way.
Plus, Roblox red flags. Several states have sued a popular gaming platform saying it exposes children to sexual predators. Tonight at 6, WRAL Investigates asked Roblox if the platform is safe. Holiday wish list savings. We're going to look at some of this weekend's best shopping deals.
Also ahead at noon, settle the debate. What's the best Thanksgiving side dish?
Mac and cheese.
I know Chris's answer. We'll give you a chance to chime in. From holiday decorations to items on everyone's wish list. 5 on your sides. Keely Arthur has a look at some of this weekend's best shopping deals.
Between Veterans Day sales and early Black Friday deals, the big retailers are stepping up. Here's a look at some of the best buys you might want to take advantage of this weekend. If you're looking for a new artificial Christmas tree, Michael's is having its annual Great Big Tree Spree with Christmas trees up to 70% off. Decorations, including trees and lights, are also on sale at Target. You can get lights for as little as $2. Decorations are up to 40% off, and trees are up to 60% off. Walmart's first Black Friday deals run Friday through this Sunday. A little early, Walmart Plus members get early access starting Thursday night. Walmart says some of the best deals are up to 70% off on floor care, 65% off on TVs, up to 50% off of toys and Legos, as well as deals on some Apple products. Lowe's and Home Depot also have early Black Friday deals where select appliances are between 40 and 50% off. For the latest shopping deals, just search Smart Shopper on WRAL.com. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
All right. It's the great Thanksgiving Day debate. What is the best side dish? Well, according to a survey commissioned by Campbell's, America's favorite Thanksgiving side dish is dressing, it turns out, with 42 states ranking it at the top spot. Coming in at second, mashed potatoes, gross. Followed by sweet potatoes, mac and cheese, which should be the number one side dish, Campbell's, and green bean casserole.
But I just want to know, why is dressing a side dish? I don't think I would consider that a side dish. That just goes on the turkey.
It's not part of the main. It's on the side. I put on my Facebook like last week or so something about mac and cheese, and so many people felt strongly, as I do.
Mac
I'm just
and
saying,
cheese is a great side dish.
That is the king side dish,
yes,
though, isn't
and sweet potato. I love a good sweet potato casserole with marshmallow on top.
I would like to remind you, though, if this is not your first year making mac and cheese, please let a professional handle
Go check
that.
out his Facebook post, because you have to see people weighing in on that post. It's amazing. All right, coming up, the shutdown is over. The federal government opened today for the first time in 43 days. A closer look at what might take some time to return back to normal.
Plus, if you didn't know, it's World Kindness Day. Why mental health professionals say doing good and giving back can give you a boost, too. That's coming up.
And here's a look at your NC Education winning lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Well, as we've been discussing, the federal government is open again today, and the House passed a stopgap funding bill last night, and the president signed it just shortly after that.
Washington might feel far away for many Americans, but as Amy Kiley reports, the effects are hitting home.
The reopening of the government is having real-world impacts on Americans today. More services are becoming available again with the return of furloughed federal employees. They're set to get back pay, and some experts predict an economic rebound.
Even though it gets made up in the measured GDP data, the real human impact is never fully recovered.
For people on Obamacare, the reopening could mean their health insurance costs will more than double. The bill does not guarantee an extension of expiring subsidies. Democrats vow to keep fighting.
Either Republicans finally decide to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits this year, or the American people will throw Republicans out of their jobs next year.
The House Speaker says he wants program reforms first.
I'm not going to guarantee a vote on ACA unreformed COVID-era subsidies that is just a boondoggle to insurance companies and robs the taxpayer. We got a lot of work to do on that.
It's unclear when flight schedules will return to normal, but SNAP benefits should be available again soon.
Food should not be up for a bargain. Everyone should have the right to eat.
For many programs, the bill provides funding through January. The president is urging Senate Republicans to reduce Democrats' power in the chamber before then.
If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again.
That was Amy Kiley reporting. A group of 6 Democrats broke ranks and voted for the bill. That includes North Carolina Democrat Don Davis. Davis says that he supported the measure because so many Americans were hurting during that shutdown.
I mean, did I want more? Absolutely, I wanted to see more. I would love for us to prepare for the holidays and know that people, their minds are at ease. Hear this. I had a constituent talking to me, literally in tears. That's not what I want.
Republican Congressman Greg Murphy also put out a statement saying this was all done to protect Senator Chuck Schumer's political career and push egregious demands of the progressive left. They failed. I look forward to getting back to the people's business.
New in the WRAL Live Center, former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown was released from custody in Miami this morning. This is video of him just after he was released. He was in custody for 40 days. He visited a food truck right after he got out. Now he is facing a second-degree attempted murder charge after a fight and a shooting that happened back in May. He will be on house arrest with a GPS monitor as this case unfolds. If he is convicted, he could face possibly 15 years in prison.
Serious charges there. The Wake County Fire Marshal's office is set to return to the scene of an overnight fire today. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there for the aftermath. This was around 2 a.m. on Riverview Road near Knightdale. Down power lines created challenges for firefighters there, and investigators say there was extensive damage to the home, the carport, even an SUV. The Knightdale Battalion Chief says the person who lives there did escape safely. The Durham Fire Marshal is investigating a house fire. This one displaced 2 people and killed 2 dogs. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker captured this video from the scene on Gorman Church Road just before 9:30 last night. And the fire was so severe, it required several fire departments to show up. Authorities say they have reached out to the Red Cross, but it's unclear on where the 2 residents are staying.
A little kindness can go a long way. Today is World Kindness Day. Chris DeMeo spoke with mental health professionals and educators who are highlighting the secret benefits you could get by showing some generosity to those around you.
With Thursday marking World Kindness Day, psychology and human development experts say showing goodwill towards others can do a whole lot of good for yourself.
It lowers stress, it reduces anxiety, it mitigates feelings of depression, and it's even good for your heart and vascular health.
Whether you're feeling depressed and anxious or not feeling depressed and anxious, doing kind things for other people can help with your mood.
According to previous research from Dr. Jen Chevins, doing acts of kindness can even help you feel more connected to those around you.
Oftentimes when we're talking to other people, we are thinking about what those people are thinking about us. What are they thinking about me? Are they judging me? And we're missing out on the connection because we're thinking about how we're doing in that situation. When people performed acts of kindness, they did less of that. So when you're engaged with acts of kindness, you're focused on the other person.
And these good deeds don't have to be big to generate results.
They can be small things like saying hello to a stranger, bringing the trash can in for your neighbor, buying somebody coffee behind you in line at your coffee shop. And if you're feeling a little bit better, and if so, maybe try to do it a couple times a week.
Dr. Chevin says your actions could even trigger a ripple effect of kindness and change countless people's day for the better.
When you engage in kind things, other people see you or the beneficiaries of your kindness, and they go on to do that too. There's some, examples of pay it forward in coffee lines that have gone on for hundreds of people.
And that was Krista Mayo reporting. Some examples of ways to celebrate include writing a thank you note to a teacher, sharing a positive message on social media, teaching children about kindness, or leaving an uplifting note in a public place.
Ways to reduce your risk for Alzheimer's disease. What doctors say you could do right now.
And streaming prices are going up, but consumers are still watching. What companies are blaming for the price hikes?
Our team is working to bring you exclusive stories. For coverage you are only going to find on WRAL, go to WRAL.com and search the word only.
November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and while there's no cure, there are ways that you can reduce your risk, like improving your diet. Inflammation of the brain can play a role in developing Alzheimer's. One way that we can prevent that is by eating certain foods, such as plant-based foods, fruits, berries in particular, as well as vegetables, nuts, beans, and whole grains.
What we choose to eat can make or break our health. When it comes to Alzheimer's prevention, we are looking for foods that are going to achieve some goals. Number one, we want to focus on foods that will provide optimal nutrients, like fiber and antioxidants and healthy fats. And we also are focusing on choosing the foods that are going to lower inflammation.
It's best to skip foods that are ultra-processed and high in saturated fat, sodium, and sugar. The same goes for processed meats and alcohol.
If restroom breaks are taking over your life, don't ignore the signs of what could be something more serious. When men experience difficulty urinating, it's a common sign of an enlarged prostate. However, a new survey reveals many are hesitant to discuss it even with their doctor. A new survey reveals more than 1/3 of men say they would rather experience something else, than talk about prostate health. That includes watching their favorite team lose a big game or even getting stuck in traffic.
The prostate is a gland that wraps around the urethra, and as we get older, our prostates just tend to enlarge. Oftentimes we don't realize until years down the line that this has been causing a problem with getting the urine out, and now my bladder is just not the same.
And the longer you wait, the worse it can get. And the solution can be simple with a new minimally invasive procedure called the HOLEP. The retreatment rate is only around 1% for the next 20 plus years.
Detecting AI in music. It's the latest tool for some DJs and music producers. How music lovers are reacting to computer-generated tunes.
Drenched and delighted, there were no complaints from a tour group after this thrilling experience. So how safe is your child using Roblox? It's a question many parents are asking following recent lawsuits claiming the popular gaming app falsely advertised itself as a safe place for children. One of those lawsuits is from a family right here in Wake County. Let's go ahead and bring in Ashley Rowe. She's here with a preview of tonight's investigation on what parents need to know about that popular app. Ashley, Roblox has been around for a long time and a familiar platform for parents who likely have kids playing it. You know, we played it, we tried out, you and I, we signed up even as a parent and a child account. So what surprised you the most during this?
First thing was how quickly the chat pops up. You know, you sign on and you immediately start seeing other users talking to you. Now, the majority of the people who are talking that we experienced, Chris, it was really very innocuous. It was quite innocent and playful and frankly quite juvenile. And that's really what this is. This is a game that is designed and marketed for kids. But this chat, the lawsuits say, is the gateway for predators to prey on these young kids and then introduce these kids to conversation on other platforms, which then takes them down a sometimes nefarious rabbit hole. The other thing that really surprised me was how quickly these pop-ups happened, pushing people, the users, to buy different items with the in-game currency Robux. Again, why is this important? Well, some of the lawsuits say that the predators use the Robux, the in-game currency, to try to coerce these kids and to almost blackmail these kids. Give me this and I will give you in-game currency, something that these kids really want.
And we know some people have said their children obviously send inappropriate photos in exchange for these Roblox, which again is a part of this whole thing. You were actually able to get an interview with a representative from Roblox, but did they share any insight about safety measures from that platform?
They really did, and they've, first they acknowledged that that they think that anything that happens where somebody is preyed upon by a predator is just heinous and unacceptable. They've introduced what are called parent accounts, where you can link your parent account to your child's account. You can see what your child is doing on the app, how much time they're spending on there. You can control whether they're able to use the chat, who they're connected with, that sort of thing. They did acknowledge that they need to do a better job of making sure parents know about this. One of the things that I encountered was a lot of parents actually didn't know that this existed, even though this parental feature has been around for about a year. Later this week, they're going to be launching AI-powered facial age estimation technology. So it's going to screen your face, and that will help prove that you are the age that you say you are when you sign up. Now, all of these safety measures come as the app faces mounting lawsuits from families and even states who say young people are being preyed upon and in some cases sexually exploited or blackmailed by adults pretending to be children. I asked Roblox about that. Hear their answer here. Does Roblox bear any responsibility for harm done to children through the app?
Even one of these cases is too many, and our hearts go out to the families that have been affected in this way. It's absolutely unacceptable, and we are working, around the clock to try and prevent this as much as we can.
They acknowledge that, their safety measures are not 100% bulletproof, but they say they are continually working to upgrade safety features. And anytime there's a new advancement in a safety feature, new technology that is launched, they are quick to dive into it, Chris.
Okay, well, thank you, Ashley. And of course, for you folks at home, you can see Ashley's full report tonight on WRAL News at 6.
All right, let's get over to meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center talking about some outdoor plans this weekend because it is going to be so beautiful, Grant, in like the mid-70s again.
I know, I'm looking forward to it, especially after a cooler start to this week. I say cooler. It was really chilly to start this week. We also had some flurries at one point. Totally different this weekend. More like almost beach weather, not quite, not in the 80s, but in the 70s, very comfortable, sunny and dry throughout this weekend, and also Sunday looking warm and wonderful. So I'm looking forward to a gorgeous weekend. And this is why we'll see those changes in the coming days. So this weekend, an area of high pressure will be set up to the south. A warm front lifts north. We get a southwest wind. And with that, our highs warm into the 70s, thanks to that warmer air moving in. It's a big contrast from what we saw earlier this week. Then our next cold front arrives later in the day on Sunday. That's what you're seeing back to the north and west, closer to Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. That dives southeast through our area. So by the start of next week, temperatures will be more seasonable again. So today and tomorrow, mid to upper 60s, very comfortable, close to average. 64 is our average. Then Saturday and Sunday, 75, 77, well above average. Our records are in the low 80s, so not quite record, but quite warm out there. Then for Monday, temperatures sitting in the mid 60s once again. So back to the more seasonable temperatures to start next week. So if you're headed to Virginia at Duke, in Durham, 3:30 p.m. is that start time. Temperatures are going to be very comfortable. Low 70s by the afternoon, sitting in the mid to upper 60s throughout the evening. We could have some scatter clouds, but I think for the majority of the day, we'll have plenty of sunshine. I want to show you this from last night. So we had a second night of the Northern Lights here in North Carolina. This is sent in from Sanford. Dennis sent this in. Beautiful view here. You can see some of these reds and pinks here, some of the greens on the right side of the picture there. And then this was the sunrise this morning. This was gorgeous. Spring Hope. Constance sent this in. You can see the high clouds that built in into the morning hours today. And with that, some vibrant oranges and yellows from that sunrise this morning. WRAL.com/report it. We love to see your photos of any weather phenomena, whether it be even space phenomena like the Northern Lights. We love to see everything, so please send those to us. This is from Southern Pines right now. We have a little bit more cloud cover now, mainly upper level clouds still in place. Other spots are just seeing blue sky, but again, the upper clouds are kind of lingering for a few areas. Temperatures in the 60s, though, still 64 Goldsboro, 68 Fayetteville, 61 in Raleigh, Durham, and Roxborough right now. By this afternoon, we'll reach the mid to upper 60s. Again, a seasonable day. Could have a few breezes out of the northwest at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour into this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid 60s. Tomorrow morning, watch for those chilly temperatures into the 30s for many spots. And then this weekend, we see the change. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. Could have a low near 60 into Sunday morning. Then back to those seasonable, comfortable temperatures. But I think a lot of folks are looking forward to thawing out this weekend with highs in the 70s after frigid temperatures we saw earlier this week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Grant.
Making a big splash. A tour group certainly got their money's worth on a recent excursion there.
Wow. And here are your winning Powerball numbers: 29, 39, 43, 51, 65. The Powerball is 23. The multiplier is 2.
As we wrap things up, here's a few of the headlines that we're following today. We have learned in the last hour that deputies arrested a woman accused of child abuse and starving dogs. An arrest warrant shows deputies found several dead animals and a malnourished child at Nancy Gupton's home in Nashville, according to them. Records show the child is Gupton's 10-year-old daughter. Gupton faces charges for killing an animal and child abuse, and she's in jail on a $50,000 bond.
We're learning a Duke Health nurse who was killed in September was strangled to death. Ariel Lowe's boyfriend, Christopher Whitley, is charged in her death. According to the autopsy report, he told investigators that he hit Lowe, smashed glass on her head, and strangled her. He then FaceTimed an ex-girlfriend to show her what he had done. Durham police found Lowe's body after arresting Whitley, who was barricaded in his apartment.
UNC Chapel Hill leadership voted to raise tuition for some students. Incoming in-state students will pay 3% more for tuition. Out-of-state students will see a larger hike. The Board of Governors will have the final say, though, and if approved, these price changes will not affect current students.
An NFL player known for his creative touchdown celebrations has issued an apology for his latest choice. It happened in the first quarter of Sunday's game between the Detroit Lions and Washington Commanders. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown made the touchdown, then celebrated by doing his Trump dance. St. Brown says that he did not mean to offend anybody. He was just having fun. St. Brown gained notoriety last year at Green Bay when he did a headstand after making a touchdown.
One family's pets are bringing the whole community together. While most people prefer dogs and cats for pets, well, looks like the Ching family decided to adopt goats. Turns out they weren't the only ones who fell in love with these four-legged farm animals there. Ching Goat is a free activity where anyone can walk and feed and hang out with these neighborhood celebrities. It's become a bit of a popular activity, especially among college students looking for a mental health break.
It's the moment whale watchers in California hope to catch, and it did not disappoint. Look at this. Oh my goodness, that's movie worthy. Video shows the moment a humpback whale leaps out of the ocean so close to that tour boat. The splashdown left the group in awe and a little bit wet as well, but no doubt they thought it was so worth it. Wow. Unforgettable.
Pretty cool. Well, our pet of the day comes to us from the SPCA of Wake County. Jax is a 9-year-old male chinchilla. The average life expectancy is 5 to 20 years, so he could be considered middle-aged. Jax can be timid when he first meets new people, but very sweet, loving, well-behaved once he's comfortable. He has reservations about being picked up, though, but he loves being petted. Adopters will just want to make sure they've done research on what chinchillas are like and what their care entails. His adoption fee is $100, and for more information about him, you can contact the SPCA of Wake County.
He looks very polite.
Sure does, little gentleman.
So cute.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL with your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.